subscribed here though, and click the notification bell. Click the like button if you enjoy this type of content, and I'll try to make a video like this each and every week. Let's dive into the Aussie New Zealand. So as I showed you earlier, we're currently involved in a short trade, and what I want to do in this bit of the analysis and the lesson is show you all the reasons why. So let's go ahead and go to, we're on our daily chart. So let me do this, and we're going to put on market replay mode so I can explain this to you. So here is where price was last week. Now, if you saw price right here, what would you be thinking? What would you be doing? Would you be prepared for if price goes up, are you going to sell somewhere? And if price goes down, are you going to buy somewhere? Because if you're not prepared for those types of situations, for price either going higher or lower, then your trading is going to constantly be confusing. And you can't make money if you're constantly confused and inconsistent. So what I did at this exact point is scrolled left, and I took a look at previous resistance. So I created an area out here, and the reason I created this area is because if I look at price right now, here is the most recent high price created. I want to go above that and to the left to find the next area. Price, if it continues in this uptrend, will likely see a pullback from. Those are my counter trend trading zones. So that's exactly what I did. By looking up into the left, I found an area of structural resistance on the Aussie New Zealand that's been tested multiple times. And again, I alerted all students of the university that this is an area I would be looking at for possible short trades. So dropping down to a 4-hour chart, I was actually also involved in a long trade from here at this point. So as price continued pushing higher and giving me signs of selling pressure, this is the actual candle that I entered on, is this one right here, this little green candle. And why is that? Well, because all the selling pressure signals that I was receiving out of this area for possible entries. Whenever I have these long wicks coming into play, long wicks mean nothing if they're by themselves in the middle of nowhere. You can see long wicked candles and then see price go in the exact opposite direction. That happens very often. But when you can find areas of value, as well as we do on higher time frames, and with it being an area of value on a higher time frame, it gives it a little bit more validation. And with all that coming together and then seeing major amounts of selling pressure, that gave me all of the indication I personally needed to go short. But you could be a bit more conservative about this and say, I'm going short at the break of these lows, which I think would have happened on the very next candle, maybe the next one. Okay, so that's where you would have gotten in, but I ended up getting in again after seeing a good bit of selling pressure from a zone that I'd already pointed out, from the preparation that I had already done. And that is what has now created a really nice trade for us that's currently only up about a 1-to-1. I'm actually about to move my stop to break even and see if we can get some continued pressure to the downside here on the Aussie New Zealand. That's my breakdown, and that's the part of the lesson where I wanted to show you a little bit about my reasons for entry on lower time frames. Multiple time frames are you looking at a higher time frame for trend and areas of value that are likely to move the market, and then finding reasons to validate that possible entry on lower time frames to take advantage of bigger moves out of price. Okay, so now let's go back out to a daily chart and take a look at Bitcoin. Here on Bitcoin, what kind of trend are we in? Another sticky situation, almost like the dollar Swiss. But the good news for buyers of Bitcoin is that we do in fact have a series of higher lows, although they're only slightly higher, and of higher highs. This is a good sign for bulls. I know it sucks right now. Trust me, I'm long-term holding well over 6 figures in Bitcoin. My account does not look great today, but this is a good sign for people that are long and bullish on Bitcoin, because if I was to call a trend, right now I would almost call this consolidation, but if I was to have to call a trend, then I would call this an uptrend considering our higher lows and higher highs. So at this point, something we should be looking for is the next level that Bitcoin could have its higher low. Now on the chart right now, the only place I'm seeing that as a likely scenario is one of two places: this level being an inside level of resistance is not a super likely scenario, but it is possible. So we could possibly see some longs coming in, some bulls coming in around the 42,714, 42,714, between that and 41,593. This will be my first area of looking for trades, but I will have to have a really conservative entry reason on a lower time frame. So this is how I combine conservative and aggressive. Our actual level of structure is not very powerful. It's just a little inside level. So with that being the case, instead of entering super aggressive as I did on the Aussie New Zealand, that's what I would consider a very aggressive entry. This, I would have to wait for a more conservative entry, like a chart pattern, maybe a double bottom, break of a neckline, and a pullback there would cause me to enter a market, enter a trade here on Bitcoin. But the more likely area of support is actually a bit lower right in here, between the 38,000 mark, between that and 37,000. So about in that area would be a much higher likelihood area where I may decide to take a more aggressive trade. As with every currency pair that we've taken a look at, if price has two different directions it can go, right? We've just prepared for what to do if price goes lower. What are we going to do if price goes higher? If price starts to push up, what is from where we are now, what's the likely scenario? The likely scenario is if we push up, then the next pullback, let me explain what I mean by that. The next time price sees resistance and we get a pullback, if we continue this uptrend, is going to be the next level looking up and to the left. Very obvious level right here. So if we continue higher here on Bitcoin, I'm going to try to encapsulate both this level and this level, then this area between 52,808 and 50,996, or around 51K, is going to be the area that is most likely to provide a pullback out of Bitcoin. If this pullback occurs, or if we get a close above our previous high, considering that we have a higher low, if we go from here and push up, what do you think my move is going to be? My move is going to be to look at this area, if we get a break and close above it, as support. So if we get a break and close that closes above the previous high on Bitcoin, then I'll be waiting on a pullback to happen. I'll be waiting for this pullback to come into 47,804, between that and 46,481. And in this area, I'll look for possible long trades here out of Bitcoin. So that's my analysis on Bitcoin, and that's how you prepare for if price is going to go up or down, which are the only two things price is going to do. So as long as you prepare for both of those situations, you're never going to be jumping into trades because of FOMO. It's going to take all the guesswork out of your trading. And that's why I highly suggest any beginners or even struggling traders that have been doing this for a while, make this type of preparation a habit that you do every single day in order to take the guesswork out of your trading and to avoid FOMO. Now, let's go ahead and move on from our Bitcoin analysis to the SPY, another asset that I am very heavy in terms of long-term holds. I buy the SPY constantly, every single day, a certain amount of it to average in. And unfortunately, days like today, when we have this big gap down, things don't look so hot. But if I was to be swing trading the SPY, that's kind of what I want to get to now. This is what I would be looking at. On the SPY, we have price currently essentially just consolidating between our lows and our highs. We really don't have a trend. Right now, if I was swing trading the SPY and we continued pushing lower, I would not look for a buy trade until 412 in this kind of zone right here. But considering that's not going to happen throughout the next couple weeks, I'm not even going to consider that. What I will consider, though, is what if price pushes up? If price pushes up, and I guess, look, let's go ahead and put a box here, okay? Because I always talk about it, and I actually do this. If price pushes lower, here's a possible buy zone, okay? For me, in my own trading, it'll be between 417 and 412. That'll be my possible buy zone if price does continue lower. My possible sell zone, if price continues pushing up, what am I looking at? Where's the most likely area to see a pullback if the SPY breaks this high? That rhymed on accident. If the SPY breaks that high, then our most likely area to see a pullback is right here. Our previous high at around 480. So if price pushes up, our most likely area to see a pullback is right here in this zone. And now, if price does in fact push up, what does that mean happened? That means that we broke above our previous high at around 462. So if we break above that previous high around 462, what am I going to be looking out for? Hopefully you said this break above the high. If I was swing trading the SPY, I would then look for a pullback into, if we break this high, I would look for a pullback into between 462.36 and $457.10. This would be my possible buy zone for a swing trade. I would hold that trade until somewhere around the 480 area here on the SPY. Ensure that you are subscribed. If you made it to the end of the video, I want to give you something special. If you will comment below one of a currency pair, an asset of any kind. It can be crypto, it can be in the stock market, it can be Forex. The top commented asset or the top commented currency pair, crypto or stock, I'll add to our next week's analysis if I continue doing these videos. Be sure to comment and let me know if you enjoyed this. Be sure to click that like button to let me know to continue making content like this. Hope you guys had a great week so far. Hope you continue to trade green, and I'll talk to you in the next video. See you soon.